To my channel. Today I'm going to tell you some difference between procedural and object oriented programming. So before further moving the video, if you did not subscribe my channel, then subscribe my channel and press the bell icon and like the video for motivation. So moving on the video, what is the difference between procedural and object oriented programming? The difference between procedural and object oriented programming we are covering in this video. What the topics we will cover on this video are: what is procedural oriented programming, what is object oriented programming, key differences between procedural and object oriented programming. So procedural-oriented programming is also known as POP, and object-oriented programming is known as OOP. Both languages follow varied approaches to the development of the program, although there are various similarities between procedural and object-oriented programming. Both are programming language that carry data type like string float, etc. Here is the list of differences between procedural and object oriented programming in the next screen. So the difference between procedural and object oriented programming is follow. Procedural oriented programming is a procedural model oriented programming language, and object oriented programming it is an object model based programming language. So and other procedural oriented programming is also known as POP, and object oriented programming is known as OOP. Procedural oriented programming follow the top-down approach. Object-oriented programming follows that bottom-up approach. And SS modifiers are not supported in procedural-oriented programming. SS modifiers are supported in object-oriented programming. Functions are preferred over data in procedural-oriented programming. Security and accessibility are preferred in object-oriented programming. Runs faster than OOP, and object-oriented programming runs slower than POP. So in also in procedural oriented programming, if the size of the problem is small, so POP is preferred. But in object oriented programming, if the size of the problem is big, OOP is preferred. And what is the procedural oriented programming? It is a programming language that is based on structured programming. The code is POP is written to break down the task into data structures, subroutines, and a collection of variables. POP is the oldest form of programming language. The codes in the POP generally carry sequences of procedural steps that will be performed during the program's running. Example of procedural oriented programming are C, Basic, Pascal, COBOL, Fortran, etc. What is object-oriented programming? So, object-oriented programming or OOP is another type of high-level programming language. The OOP is based on the concept of object. It is one of the most widely used programming language. The object in OOP are instances of classes known as the blueprint of objects. So, object-oriented programming is the most popular programming language which carries data as attributes and code-like methods. The popular example are OOP in Java, Java, C++, C Sharp, Python, Objective C, Scala, PHP, JavaScript, Dart, Swift, Ruby, Perl, etc. What are the key differences between procedural and object-oriented programming? The key differences between the procedural and object-oriented programming are given below. Like procedural programming is based on the unreal world, whereas the foundation or object-oriented programming is reality. Procedural programming that follows a linear stream of instruction is known as procedural programming. On the other hand, object-oriented programming is a subset of programming that is built on the idea of object. So overloading is not possible with procedural programming. However, overloading is possible in object-oriented programming in two ways: method overloading and operator overloading. So friends, thank for now, and then for you watching the video. If you like the video, then please like, share, subscribe, and thank you.